I do think that the amount of upside for this type of currency is wild. On the other hand, I think there are a lot of people who are like, but if it like if suddenly everyone's like, ah, it's not that worth. I mean, it's not really worth it that much anymore. It does like the worth like it just goes away.
Yeah, and I think, for an asset like Bitcoin, um, I think in its early days, like, that was absolutely, like, a real threat, like, there was, like, no, assurance at all that this would ever people would ever, like, understand it and ascribe value to it. I think you get to a certain point, in the, value of the network where it's like, wow, like we're seeing globally, like nation states are adopting it,
Mm,
large corporations are holding it.
yeah,
BlackRock, fastest growing ETF ever is a Bitcoin ETF, and so there's definitely like you get to like a critical mass stage where you can say like the odds of this thing going to $1 million are much higher than it going to zero at this point. Like, because
right.
like the world has ascribed value, and they haven't done that because like it's a shiny rock or it's a cute meme like Dogecoin. It's because it has real properties that make it valuable. Like
Right.
it has verifiable scarcity. It can, all the things we talked about. Like you can move it around the globe at the speed of light and at zero cost. It enables, people. So people are ascribing value to those properties of Bitcoin. Therefore, they're valuing
The
Bitcoin
Bitcoin
in
itself.
a very different way than valuing like a rare baseball card that people might decide someday is like, we're just not into baseball cards anymore.
Yeah, basketball cards are not a
Like
thing, right? Yeah.
because it has no functionality utility. Like Bitcoin is the opposite. Like its functionality, its utility is what drives its value.
Hmm. Yeah. Do you think AI is going to have any effect on Bitcoin?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think like part of Bitcoin's again value over and against, let's say, gold or is that it is programmable money. Like it's on the blockchain, and so I think we're going to definitely see a world where um, you know like our self-driving cars could actually like do transactions again using maybe
Mm,
DeFi rails of Ethereum or Solana, but like the currency could easily be Bitcoin of like, hey, like you grab my Tesla that that like I'm at work and so like I'm letting my Tesla work as a cab because like they're self-driving, and so like it's gonna like just do this automatically, and like as soon as you get out of the car like it can fire off
yeah.
the request, and like it'll verify that like yeah it took you there, and therefore it like met the goal of the smart contract, and so it's just going to in an automated way like move a few sats, the smallest piece of Bitcoin like across the blockchain and into your wallet, and like the car can like get paid itself,
Yeah.
or whatever. So
Right.
I think AI is definitely like programmability and Bitcoin like go hand in hand in a way
Yeah.
that it doesn't work with gold or a fiat system.
Is it going to have an effect on the, mining capabilities of Bitcoin nodes and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like, as Bitcoin becomes more scarce, like, the global hash rate, I mean, just keeps growing. It basically keeps growing in sync with the value of the Bitcoin network. So,
Mhm.
the amount of compute power continues to just multiply in an exponential way because it's like it's the energy that's required to secure this network. And if you think about like when something was really little, like two guys might be able to secure that network.
Yeah.
Now, like think of like the military it takes to secure the United States. Like it's massive, and it takes like massive energy
Yeah.
to secure that. But we do it, we spend it because it's valuable. Because we're saying
Right.
like, hey, we're willing to spend energy on that because like we're sustaining something valuable. I think
Yeah.
Bitcoin's the same way. Like it does as it becomes more valuable, it takes more energy, but we're saying, "Hey, this is worth sustaining." Like we'll
Yeah.
we'll spend energy on it.
And the more service members you have, the more
Yeah.
military veteran people
Yeah.
you have, the more
The more
secure it
strength you
becomes.
have, and like
Right.
the more dispersed they are, in a sense,
Right.
like you don't have a single point of failure. So the fact that like Bitcoin hash rate is spread across the globe, and it's probably a little more concentrated than it even should be, but it continues to like move across the
Spread out, yeah.
globe. Like that's only a feature, not a bug. You know?
Yeah. How do you, it is also interesting because a lot of my demographic who is, my age group who is kind of dealing with a lot of the hyperinflation and things getting way more expensive, this feels kind of like a way out in
Yeah.
a sense. Like we can escape the monetary tyranny of our governments and banks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, if your life is based on the dollar, like I can see your future, and it's not great because
Yeah,
like you're experiencing that, like my kids are experiencing that too. Like, how am I ever going to get a house? How am I going to,
right.
like how can I ever keep up with this like thawing? Like when I'm earning money and it's thawing, and so like I think investing in a sound asset that has global appeal, like makes a ton of sense. It's like one way off that track.
Yeah.
And I think, Bitcoin's compound annual growth rate, like you look over the last 12 years, there's no better asset in the world. And again, it's not just because it's like people are gambling on this thing, but it's like people are realizing the utility of it, like the
Right.
utility of like, wow, I can secure my money. I can keep it out of the hands of the money printers at the Fed. I can keep it from being confiscated. So yeah, I think
Do you think that's gonna decrease inflation at all?
yeah, that it's an interesting question. Like on one hand, like I'm very, uh, you know, I don't see us like decreasing our inflation just because like our government is addicted to spending. Like let's
Right.
face it, whether
Yeah.
it's Republicans or Democrats, our entitlement programs, our military, and our lack of discipline to actually like ever make a difference,
Yeah.
is we're going to keep spending and we're going to keep printing. I wish it wasn't that way. Like
R
that's not what I
Yeah.
want because, I mean,
We don't want to become Zimbabwe.
no, but but will we, how are we going to get to the point where we actually like take steps on that? Should we be living in a deflationary times? Like absolutely.
Yeah.
Like and like this is I think one of the paradoxes that we just have to deal with is like we really should be living in deflationary times because technology is making everything cheaper.
Yeah.
Like again, if we go back to our iPhone, I remember when I was a kid, like for our big Christmas presents one year, like I got a 35 millimeter film camera and my brother got like a pocket calculator. And those were like equal gifts at the time
Yeah,
and both
right.
very expensive. And now like that plus my GPS and on, probably $50,000 worth of stuff is on like my iPhone,
Yeah.
And so like it should absolutely be deflationary because technology has enabled us to do all these things like so cheaply. Um, but because of like our currency inflation, like we don't see that reflected.
Yeah.
So it's it's a push and a pull, but I wish I wasn't as bearish on our ability to solve this problem, but I kind of am.
I don't see a solution where the government, stops doing what it's been doing.
Yeah,
Like, we're spending like a drunken sailor on leave,
yeah,
and I don't see a world where he suddenly goes sober.
yeah. I mean, as Walter in Breaking Bad said, and this is a pretty famous Bitcoin meme, is like nothing stops this train.
Yeah,
Like
right.
when it comes to inflation and money printing, like nothing stops this train. And we wish it wasn't so. And also, like I'm not like an alarmist about it. I think this is like a long
No.
a
Yeah.
long run. I think Christians have tended to be like either totally ignoring it or very alarmist and like
Yeah,
the
right.
dollar's collapsing next week or
Yeah.
next month or something. And like, I don't think either one is true. I think we're still the world's strongest and, it's the dominant currency in the world. Is it showing cracks? Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Like, have we done some really stupid things to enable those cracks? Like,
Right.
yeah, we have,
Right.
but I don't think we're talking about like a tomorrow kind of thing or
Yeah.
2028 kind of thing.
Right, and we're drinking out of lead goblets, so you have to look in the future and be like, "Alright, if we keep doing this,
Yeah.
we are gonna kill
Yeah,
ourselves." Like, you just
exactly.
like,
Yeah,
it's not now,
yeah,
but in 50
yeah.
years,
So you don't wanna be blind
right,
about it, you don't wanna be reactionary to it, but I think there's, you know, investing in hard assets like gold, Bitcoin,
land.
land, to some degree, like even our stock market has kind of become a global,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
it's like it's a bit decoupled from just the pure fundamentals because like money around the world is looking for like a place to put money that isn't just holding dollars or yen or name your currency
You're right.
pounds because they're all melting.